All right, we're trying new style, but there's a lawsuit coming out inside the IFA. Uh, Not a lot to say. Just Will Hanna questioning their funds. So suing them for what, $500,000? 500,000. So we got to talk about that. Mini camp starts this weekend for the Beavers, so we got to discuss that. The Arkansas Storm, what's going on there? They were from the MLF. They got a coach. Well, they never actually joined the MLF, but they left the MLS for the IFA. They already have foundation and ownership set. So we got some stuff to dive into. A lot of UFL news going around, a lot of AF1 news going around. So that we're just gonna hop right into this episode. This lawsuit, Will Hanna II has filed a lawsuit against Jason Adams in the IFA on behalf of the Baltimore Lightning. Now, I don't understand really what's going on. Now, from my understanding, there's $5,000 invested and over 500,000 as a loss. Now, of course, not Will Adams. Jason Adams has stated in the past lawsuits will come. He said a lawsuit's most likely going to happen, so he's prepared for this. Will Hanna, I don't know what to expect, but I can expect that this will get solved super super quick. It's a little bit different than what's going on in Alabama right now, but I can still expect this thing to get resolved and to proceed on just fine. The part that doesn't sit with me is we know why you guys got kicked out. We know why you guys are in the league. We know why Jason Adams and the IFA, well, not on behalf of Jason Adams, more of the IFA and really anything, we know why they're kicked out. You know. So they can't even pay their coaches. They can't even pay their staff. They're announcing players that aren't going to play. They're announcing partnerships that aren't real. They just announced a partnership that's not even real. And you're going to come here and say, oh, we're going to sue them for money defamation and, no. What? This doesn't sit right and this doesn't make sense. But of course, only time will tell with this one. But I expect everything to get resolved immediately, super, super quickly. So it's interesting. Out news or like camp news, I guess. But going across the IFA, a couple trials happened. One trial happened this weekend, and one's happening this next weekend. The Caballeros had their trial, and they apparently got a good group of people showing up, as well as the Tampa Bay Tornadoes, who allegedly, well, not allegedly, I know he was there, but they had Corey Curtis over at the trial. Now, my arena episode, I had mentioned that Corey Curtis has actually ended up signing with the Nashville Cats. Called him a mid-tier quarterback. I'm not the only one who thinks that. Yeah, I said that one. But Corey Curtis is over in Tampa Bay. Interesting, okay? That's one thing that's popping around. But another thing that's also popping around outside is that the Caballeros had a successful tryout. A lot of people showed up, and they apparently got a good group of people that they want to bring on into camp. Now, the Pioneers have a tryout this weekend, and they have a good amount of people showing up this next weekend, as well as the Alabama Beavers mini camp starting instead of tryout. Now, the Beavers also have a combine. I don't know if that's still going on or not. But Alabama has a good group of guys going up. I'll name off a few players who will be attending minicamp this weekend or in a few days, and who can make such an impact. Now, also state that the Tampa Bay Tornadoes had a mini OTA, and they had a good list of guys show up. And I'm assuming their quarterback position is still open, and they're posting about Corey Curtis. So keep that in mind. Also, running around in the AF1, training camp has started for some teams, as the Southwest Kansas Storm and the Corpus Christi Titans have announced their training camp has started. And then also Shreveport Rogoroks and a lot of NAL teams, IFL teams have also started training camp soon for some IFL teams. But that is something to keep an eye out on. Heading on to that, we're going to talk about some Alabama's Beavers mini camp news. Now, of course, mini camp kicks off this weekend, all right? For the 21st, 22nd, they got a mini camp. The next month, we got the draft. Hip hip hooray. But we got mini camp. Now, we got some names, just a little bit, like the bigger names that people would know. At quarterback, we got Roland Rivers. Now, if you were a USFL guy back in 2022, you were like, oh, Roldan Rivers. Oh, I know who that is. Well, Rivers, of course, played with Pittsburgh Maulers. Before that, spent time with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Rivers didn't have a lot of, interest, just a little CFL interest, and I'm not sure what else happened after that, but he's heading towards minicamp for the Alabama Beavers. So is D'Angelo Fulford. If you're aware of who D'Angelo Fulford is, I mean, I'm still a little familiar. I just know he's a bigger name, but D'Angelo Fulford is another player who's heading over towards minicamp. And next is Ivory Durham. Now, Ivory Durham has been pushed a lot, but you find out that he's close to Alabama or more of Birmingham in general. That's why he's getting pushed. But D'Angelo Fulford is one name. Not D'Angelo, sorry, Ivory Durham. Ivory Durham is pushed out a lot, not D'Angelo. Ivory Durham is pushed out a lot because he's close to that Huntsville, area. At the running back position, we got Decarius Salah. Not too familiar. No, he's the last chance you guy, but not too familiar. BJ Smith, running back, played over in Troy up till 2023. Actually spent sometime last year with the Iowa Barnstormers. So interesting signing. And Robert Washington also spent some time in the IFL as well. Oh, so, yeah, with the Iowa Barnstormers. Sorry, BJ Smith spent time with the Northern Arizona Wranglers over in the IFL. Now, our wide receiver, the biggest name is Javon Antonio, who played over in Colorado with the Buffs. Colorado Buffs. Now, he played, Coach Dion's team, and he transferred over there. Had a semi-decent season, and now he heads over to Alabama with no NFL interest. Well, he might have had some NFL interest, of course, but not playing in the NFL. Ari Wertz is another name, and Rashad Nelson are also two names. At the tight end, they got Adrian Tolbert. If you were, overseas guy, you know who Adrian Tolbert is. Now, that's one bigger name. On the defensive line, they got Josh Clark, somebody who came out of Jackson State and spent time in the NFL. Jackson Clark will probably end up on this Alabama team come May. And finally, on the defensive back side, the sleeper name is, Yape Harvey, one name who's actually, I don't know if he's going to make it or not, probably. But he is going to be attending camp, and Dalvin Bond, defensive back, expect some type of, him to roar out. Now, another thing with the running backs is they're bringing 3 running backs in. I don't know if we're going to see like a dual receiver and running back, but for now, we know they have 3 running backs right here. So those are probably the 3 guys that they're going to bring in. So come camp, they're going to expect to get their 40 guys out of this. Once they get the 40 guys out and signed, and not just that, they're going to sign them to a contract. Like, they're going to be officially signed to the team. Not a minicamp contract, not a camp contract, but actually signed with the team. A good 40 guys, and then the draft comes out. So after the draft, that's when we expect teams to finish up their roster, and that's what we should also expect Dallas, the Pioneers, who happen to travel this weekend, to sign their guys. And if one in NAL's minicamp has not kicked off, but more of players are reporting. So players are reporting to minicamp / training camp, and there's a lot to see. Not to dive in with that. I know we're around a week away from UFL minicamp. We're 8 to 9 days. So we're near UFL minicamp, and we're in the midst of NAL / AF1 minicamp. Now, what's going on? What's going on with Shreveport? Because Shreveport has only announced 4 players, and they have everybody in minicamp. Half these teams have barely announced any of their signings. So, are they keeping them for camp, or are they? I don't know. I don't know. So, that's something to hold off on for a second. So now we got some UFL betting odds. All right, I'm not encouraging you to bet, but championship betting odds are now open. Plus 200 on the Stallions, plus 1800 on the Roughnecks. Roughnecks have the lowest odd. They go from Stallions, Battlehawks, Defenders, Brahmas, Panthers, Renegades, Showboats, and then Roughnecks. Interesting. They're now available on DraftKings Sportsbook. So if you're a young, eager player to make some money, don't bet on the Roughnecks or the Showboats. Defenders signed quarterback Spencer Sanders. Spencer Sanders was, of course, one of the bigger names in college football a couple of years ago at Oklahoma State, then transferred to Ole Miss and ended up doing nothing. went undrafted and now he finds himself in DC. And I want to see him compete with Teamu. I can see a 2 quarterback system with the same exact quarterback playstyle over in DC. They also signed offensive lineman Mason Brooks, who spent time over in Carolina as a center. So a fun addition to see over there. Virginia Tech signs offensive coordinator Philip Montgomery to their offensive coordinator position. Of course, he was the assistant offensive coordinator in Birmingham. Interesting. Isaiah Washington signs with the Memphis Showboats. Isaiah Washington spent some time with the Baltimore Ravens, and then he ended up getting cut. Of course, he gets cut, signed somewhere else, and that somewhere else is not in the CFL. It is in the UFL. And finally, Frank Darby signs with the St. Louis Battlehawks in a receiving room where I don't think he makes any impact at all, but he could be number 5 coming in at number 3, at number 2 at some point in the season if injuries happen. And Russell Peterson signs with the Houston Roughnecks, re-signing from back in 2023. Of course, he was spent time in 2023 and ended up getting signed to the NFL after no NFL opportunity. Comes around, he ends up going back to the UFL to play with the Roughnecks. I'm not sure if he's going to make any impact at all, but only time can tell with some of these players. The International Football Alliance announced their schedule. Now we're a month away from the draft. Now we have the schedule. Now everything should be good to go, right? Well, there's one problem with the schedule. A lot of these games are at the same time. So I feel like they're going to schedule some things out, but a lot of them are all at 7 p.m. and one at 6 p.m. week 8. Or week 10, sorry, week 10. But we got a week 1 game, a schedule versus the Caballeros versus the linemen. Ironman, not linemen. I wrote that wrong. Caballeros, practically the linemen, going up against the Ohio Valley Ironmen. Week 1 to open the season. We thought we'd get that Tampa Bay, Alabama season opener. As Jason Adams said, oh, we got something in the bag. We're going to surprise you guys. Tornadoes versus Beavers, of course. And the Texas Pioneers fly out to Challar to take on the Rebellion. Now, what's interesting about this is games actually got bumped up. So week 2 game that was supposed to be the Pioneers going to play the Caballeros is now going to still be week 2. It's supposed to be a week 1 matchup that got bumped up, but apparently it's still a week 2 game. So that's something to look out for. Now, the Ironmen were originally supposed to play home against the Rebellion and kick off just a couple hours before the Beavers doing that. That's still intact. But why are these games at the same time? That raises question. All these games are at the same time. Except for week 1, of course. But week 2 to week 10 should all be the same time. Of course, we got a week 5 bye on the 28th. But it's not really week 5, really. But it's on the 28th of June, we have a league-wide bye. And play continues. And the 2nd of August is the semifinals. Each top seeds will host playoff games. So I'm pretty sure they figure something out there. And the championship game is on the 9th of August. When are tickets going to be available? I don't know. But the one flaw is a lot of these games are the same exact time. I'll be like Caballeros. We saw Carl Reynolds on an interview, so I was like, let me do this in honor of Carl Reynolds. Why not? Anyways, a lot of these games are at the same time. It's like it raises like some questions to make you think. Why? Now, of course, they might fix this. This would probably get fixed. A lot of these games will be different days, different times, but you cannot have them all on the same day, same time. Except for, a week 10 game. But still, I don't understand. Of course, not even the consumer, the fan himself, cannot enjoy every single game unless he's attending his team's games. You got people like me who want to watch all 3 games for all 6 teams and examine and watch film on all 6 players, all 6 teams on every single player, and just learn and grow with the game. I can't do that. Each fan can't do that. The super fans can't do that. The people who are going to bring in 10,000, those 10,000 diehards who know about it cannot bring it in. They can't watch. So it raises something there. It makes you go, whoa, 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 whoa. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Now, The biggest problem is there are no losers of the schedule. There's no schedules that, affect anybody, which is great. There are no losers in the schedule. There's even a week off for the league, a league-wide week off, which is great. But the one problem is a lot of teams are playing at the same time. Now, I'm pretty sure they're going to get this resolved. This will most likely get resolved, but I don't know. I don't know why. Why are you going to have every single game be at the same exact time? Except for a week 10 game and a week 1 opener. Now, of course, the way they are, Dallas doesn't even get a week. Dallas doesn't get a home game to week 3. Sorry, to week 3. Of course, I'm gonna break down each game in the schedule as the game goes on. I'll need to break down every single game right now and tell you, who's playing who. Go on the website and look yourself. Tickets will be announced soon, but of course, I announced the week 1 game because those are the ones that everyone can look forward to. And as the season goes on, I will progress through each game. I'm not going to spend my time wasting telling you what games are going to be played. It doesn't seem ethical. It doesn't seem right. But still, why play them at the same time? Of course, I'm pretty sure Jason Adams will have this figured out. And this could be something to look out for, but maybe it just gets resolved. Maybe it's just an issue that gets resolved, but for now, we just have to wait and see on this. The Arkansas Storm announced as the next expansion team in 2026. Of course, I've stated, Jason Adams has stated, people in the league have stated that the Toledo team will not come till, has been pushed back, and there's a possibility it might never come, but that's just me talking. But Ron Calcagni is supposed to be the head coach for this team in Arkansas. The Arkansas Storm is supposed to be the next expansion team in 2026. Now, there's some digging to do. This MLF team, yes, because they were supposed to be in the MLF, they spent somewhere near 2 weeks till they were decided no, or probably 2 days, I don't know. But this team that was supposed to be inside the MLF has left the Major League Football to join the International Football Alliance. I don't think I see this ever. We could probably see at some point, maybe like the Mass Pirates creating an 11-11 outdoor team. At some point in the future, though. But this is something to keep an eye out for, because league's on a good path. League's on a good track. Especially let's say a team like Tampa Bay expands, does great, and then goes and plays in the UFL. Ohio Valley Ironman, bring a team in Canton. Don't be like, I'm not being delusional. This is a possibility. Toledo is a team that, is a state that needs a team. Sorry, a city that needs a team. So the Arkansas Storm coming in from the MLF, which really, they didn't really come in from the MLF. They were supposed to play in the MLF, and they had like agreements in the MLF, but they decided to back out because the league is not probably going to play a game at all. That's the reason why Jared Jude stepped down as general manager over in San Antonio. All four GMs have now stepped down. Interesting. And one of the teams happened to be the Arkansas team, and the team left altogether. So now I'm a dog on the MLF now. I was like, at first I was like, oh, it's funny hot. No, this league's not gonna play. But enough of the MLF. The Storms, join the MLF. So what does that mean? Expansion. Which means this MLF, this IFA league can now expand more. He says he wants that 10-team league till 2028, and then he'll expand more. So that's what Jason Adams has stated in an interview before. So this is going to be the 7th of those 10 teams. And then speaking with people inside the IFA, they say, I like 6 teams as a better idea now. We're not jumping around and scratching our heads at 10 games with 7 teams. One team's on bye. No, each team plays 8 games, and they get a bye. Pretty nice, right? Now we could see another team next year, most likely. Maybe one team in the next 2 years hops into the UFL, like Tampa Bay, Ohio Valley. Hell, maybe second San Antonio team. Who knows? Probably not. But depending on how this runs, we'll see. Now, that'll do it. That'll do it for this episode. We actually have 12 episodes up there, but this is the 12th episode that we have recorded to talk about and stuff like that. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something as well inside the IFA. But hell, analytics have been up pretty good. Huge shout out to everyone that listened. Huge shout out to everyone listened this far. Hope you guys enjoy the show. And hey, we're gonna keep rolling this stuff out. I know it's been like a little iffy for me, but hey, we're gonna keep rolling this out. But the one thing I do want to state is Ron Calcagni is the head coach. Calcagni had played collegiate ball over in Arkansas and played a little bit in Canada and had some like an IFA, AFL ownership like type coach and stuff like that. So he's deep into Arkansas history, deep in that Arkansas, football culture and archive. Like he's a well-known name, and he's bringing a team in there, and they'll have a stadium announced. They'll have a coach announced. Well, he was supposed to be announced as coach, but I posted about it. League doesn't want to know about it, but hey, I'm putting it on my podcast. League, I'm not taking this down. IFA, I'm not taking this down. I don't care. I know who the head coach in Alabama is, but I'm not gonna mention him. He should be mentioned this weekend. But I'm gonna mention Cal Cagney. Hey, like, anyways, I have an insider inside Arkansas. All I can say. So, but for now, that's gonna do it for the first episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. Um, hey, without further ado, we're just gonna end it right here. Rafael Samarkov saying, hey, peace. Hope you enjoyed.